Welcome back to For the Record. Joining us now is financial advisor with Williams Wealth Management, Mike Giordano. And Mike, we're talking about crypto. So someone comes to you and says they want to invest in cryptocurrency. How do you even define it to them?
Very much like your previous guest said, I mean, it's kind of like, I say digital gold. That's the easiest way to describe it. It's an alternative currency. And so it's relatively newer, obviously, than gold. It's been around for the millennia. Mm-hmm. And so it's more of something that I say is on the speculative asset side.
Mm-hmm. People want to invest in it. They see the price of Bitcoin going up. They want to learn about it. Are people calling you and asking? What are you hearing?
Yeah, I mean, people have asked for years and years and years and years, and it's matured as a market, of course, cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in particular, over the last decade. Now, in the last couple of months, you've had ETFs introduced in the market from some of the biggest players on Wall Street, and so that's made it more normalized as well. And then you've seen the price appreciation over the last year, and anytime an asset is moving higher in a very significant way, it captures a lot of the imagination, and then it starts bringing people into the space.
When ETFs, equity traded funds, were allowed to start putting Bitcoin in, we saw the price of Bitcoin start to just climb and climb quickly. And more of these holders of the ETFs have been buying and buying and buying up the Bitcoin that is there. Bitcoin, there's only going to be a certain amount ever, and that's what gives it its value. As people buy it, and it becomes more rare, is that where that wealth that people are hoping to obtain is coming from?
Perhaps. I mean, there's only going to be 21 million coins. We're at, what, 19.5 million already? Yeah. So there's a little bit of that. It's kind of the same thing as gold. There's a finite amount of gold in the world. And so that's kind of what the stuff pegs off. You know, it's interesting. Cryptocurrencies, they move in a lot of the same ways as assets like gold and silver. But it's sometimes hard to tell exactly what is really driving the price in the day-to-day. So sometimes people are looking at using Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation, against what's happening with the central banks. But sometimes it's just pure speculation, and it might be trading against growth stocks. So people might decide, instead of going to plow my money in a hyper growth stock, I'm going to go put it in to one of these cryptocurrencies.
We've talked many times about the importance of diversification when it comes to your portfolio. Define that. And does this new thing called cryptocurrency have a place? Does it have a place?
Yeah, of course, it all depends on the person. Everything depends on the person. But what I would say is investing so much like life. People need to have enough stability, but people also want a little bit of excitement. The level of excitement goes all the way from Evel Knievel over to Nervous Nelly, right?
Right.
So, I mean, you have these massive extremes. What I try to help people with is a couple of different things. First off, think about your own risk tolerance. How much can you handle if that investment were to go to zero? How much money could you put in that investment and you still wouldn't freak out? Or how much can you even handle just the volatility? Even if it doesn't go to zero, if it goes from 70,000 to 10,000 back to 65,000, can you handle that roller coaster ride? So generally speaking, what I try to tell people is have the majority of your assets in more stable places where you can tolerate that roller coaster. If you need excitement, define it in a manageable way that you know that you can live with whatever the consequences are.
Yeah. One way that cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, is affecting the world is, sure, the US dollar has a lot of value to it. But in some countries around the world, their currency is so weak that one Bitcoin could be generational, bring generational wealth to some people around the world. And that's where we are now. You could literally transfer funds without going through a bank from one person to another. And for some people who aren't in a country like America, it's life-changing.
Yeah, I think that's true. It still plays off the speculation aspects, though, because for things to be a real currency where people want to exchange them all the time, you want some sort of stability. This is why the U.S. dollar is the reserve currency of the world, right? People around the world look at the U.S. system and its rule of law as being stable, and so that means the currency is going to be stable, and so you don't mind exchanging value in it.
Yeah. Over time, the stock market has obviously built so much wealth for people because of the rising price of all stocks and companies growing. For example, Apple. If you bought Apple back in 2000, now it's huge.
Right.
Some people may want to chase that dollar,
Yeah.
and that could be dangerous.
Oh, absolutely, and that's why you have two components here. You got to think about their financial component. As a financial advisor, I advise clients all the time on how much can you financially risk here, right? You got $1 million portfolio. How much money could you actually put into a speculative asset of any kind, whether we're talking about cryptocurrencies or anything else, and not really feel the effects of it in terms of your long-term plan. Then the second part is right here between the ears. How much can you emotionally handle that ride? Because you don't want something like a cryptocurrency derailing the rest of your portfolio. If you lose a bunch of money in a cryptocurrency that you decide you're going to get risk averse in the rest of your portfolio. So it all comes down to your goals, and it comes down to risk tolerances and how much emotional capacity you have for that roller coaster.
Great advice, great advice. Well, you're staying with us, and stay with us too. Our cryptocurrency conversation continues after the break.